Good morning, Los Angeles. And I have a message for you this morning. We have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. What? No to fascist America. No, but seriously, don't stand on the freeway. And I'll get to why it's not a good idea to stand on the freeway very shortly. But we are at refusefascism.org, and the reason we are here is because I was browsing Reddit and I saw a picture of the newspaper that took out an ad on this subject. There's the ad in the paper, so I thought, you know what? Let's see what all the fuss is about. So, very interesting website. If you're looking where to go, then which one was it here? Where to be November 4th. Gotta admit, they get bonus points for organization. So, where to be on November 4th. And they have a nice little list of cities here. So, apparently, we're only fighting fascism where we can get enough liberals together to hold hands. You'll notice there might be a few conservative cities on here, but a lot of liberals. Seattle, San Francisco, Salem, Portland. I don't know how liberal Pittsfield. I've never even heard of Pittsfield. Where the fuck is Pittsfield? Pittsfield, America. Pittsfield, USA. I don't even know what state it's in. Massachusetts. Okay. What is their population? Like 200? 44,000 people. Well, LA's got 9 million people in the greater metro area, but apparently Pittsfield's representing. Go Pittsfield. All right, what's going on in Los Angeles? Pershing Square. Ooh, they have a Facebook event page too. That's cool. But anyways, so let's see. Where do I have other prepper friends? I think we have some Arizona preppers. Tucson Comic Con. It seems like a weird. How funny is it to start an Antifa rally at Comic Con? Like maybe they just call the center the Tucson Comic Con Center. I guess that's what it's called or something. I don't know, but can you just imagine all these people like dressed up like Superman and like Antifa right next to them, like shouting at Superman? I don't know. I think that's really funny. So what? Let's see here. What was I looking at? The regime's crimes. Ooh. So actually, I have to admit, they've put a considerable amount of research into this website, and I've been kind of reading through it, and at first glance, it doesn't look like they're stretching the truth. It just sort of looks like they're trying to kind of organize all the things that they're trying to kind of, connect the dots and say, this is why Trump is fascist, or this is why the regime is fascist, etc., etc. So they organize it into a few key categories. I guess these are the real heart grabbers. Muslims, civil liberties, people of the world, women and other people. Very interesting way to put it. I don't know why they just put like gender and sexuality issues or something like that. Women and all other types of people. Very, very strange way to list that. White supremacy, police brutality, and mass incarceration. Okay. Sort of, the law enforcement side, how many people are incarcerated versus how the police treat people that they arrest or that they detain. Kind of related. White supremacy, not necessarily related to those two things, although there is issues with minorities being disproportionately affected by law and law enforcement, but I don't necessarily think that's a result of white supremacy. The environment and immigrants. So, very, very interesting stuff. Let's see here. the gay rights thing, I don't know, he's giving money to Planned Parenthood and stuff, and people don't like that. I don't. Just because Trump got elected doesn't mean you have to live your life a different way, all right? You can live your life pretty much however you want. I mean, other than the fact that there's no gay marriage in a lot of states, which is an issue that, if you feel strongly about, I encourage you to contact your representative. That's it's our right as American citizens to voice our opinions on a variety of concerns. So I should mention, really interesting sort of, and I don't think this is something that was necessarily beyond Obama, but it says that the government is demanding massive information on visitors to a website used to organize these protests. Well, what am I on right now? I'm on a website to organize protests. So if the government's watching my video, first of all, like, comment, and subscribe. And second of all, yeah, I love America. So don't worry about me, guys. I love America. America's all good. I'm not going to go stand in the freeway. I'm not going to block the street for anyone. I'm not going to go parading down Main Street with a mask and a bat and causing havoc because I'm not crazy. Anyways, what is all this stuff on here? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Trump supporters are systematically attacking academic freedom. I'm not. Are you? I know a lot of people that are preppers are conservatives, but I'm not attacking academic freedom. I haven't experienced any of my teachers attacking academic freedom. I mean, yeah, they ask us to study certain things in class, but, I can kind of see this like, honestly, academic freedom, I mean, it's really sort of a silly term because when you're in school, you're there for a certain purpose, If I'm an engineering student, I don't have academic freedom to go study art or to go write a paper on gender equality. I mean, unless I'm taking that class. Now, nobody's going to stop me from writing a paper, but it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with my school. Then this other part, they have targeted progressive professors with online threats and terror, and fascist goons have gone to campuses to spread hate and attack students and professors. Look, if there's been attacks on campus, by people that have whatever views, that's terrible, but to say that it's some sort of organized thing to attack liberals, I don't know anything about any sort of conspiracy to attack people on campus. I know that Antifa is actively organizing to. I don't know if Antifa is how they feel about using violence on other people and whether it's defensive or aggressive or whatever, but as far as I know, most conservatives are law-abiding citizens who, even though they feel strongly about the rights they have, they're not going to go out and start, throwing punches with protesters just to, because God bless America. I mean, it's getting into scuffles with people that are protesting in the street. It's just not really the best way to make political change. Look, I'm not going to say that protesting doesn't matter. People in Catalonia are showing that peaceably assembling, and hey, they know how to peaceably assemble, man. When you see all those people in Catalonia, they're just really powerful stuff. It's not like makes Antifa look like a bunch of goons, but anyways, really weird stuff too. Like, see if I can zoom in here. Proposed law in North Dakota, Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Rhode Island, and North Carolina make it legal to run over protesters as long as the driver claims it was an accident. Now, I don't think what they're saying in this is that they're going to make some law that someone who runs over. Look, accidents are already legal. There's nothing illegal about getting into an accident as long as you're not like negligent or under the influence, But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. But it's like they're making it out like it's just going to be legal to run people over. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. I think they're sort of taking a little bit of create a license with that. Now this is actually really interesting, and this, they're sort of like putting their foot in their mouth with this. Oregon is a very, I mean, it's sort of a really interesting state, right? Like you would think it was sort of hillbilly country state because it's sort of like in the forest and they all smoke pot and talk to the trees or whatever. But Oregon is a very, very interesting state. I would say there's some liberals in Oregon. In fact, I got a political. God, I don't even know like how to search like the popularity. How conservative is Oregon? I could Google how liberal it is. So Oregon votes Democratic with relatively small margins. Okay, so basically, Oregon is mostly Democratic with I think a lot of independents and some, mostly liberal, not as much conservative, but definitely some conservatives. Probably conservatives leaning more towards voting Democratic than Republican. But anyways, Oregon bill will expel students from their college or university if they participate in a violent riot. Now, so what's funny is like you have a theoretically progressive or democratic or, highly left organization saying, we're going to fight fascism, but by the way, one of our sort of progressive states has done something really fascist. So it's like a really interesting introspective look. Like, there could be people in fact, I'm pretty sure Portland was on the list, right? Yeah. So they're organizing in Portland, and here they're saying, oh, by the way, Oregon just made this bill, so it's like, I guess it makes sense, maybe they should go to that school or, go to, I mean, look, violent riot, a peaceable assembly is different than a riot, but the really scary thing about this bill is that, let's say, I am a student, so let's say, God forbid, there's a violent riot on my campus. Let's say I'm walking past this riot, and for whatever reason, some, I don't know, 150 police in riot gear all show up right as I'm walking by. They cordon off the area, and they say, you're all participating in a riot, we're all going to arrest all of you. And that's not really how it works, but let's just say, worst case scenario, something happened like that. If I couldn't prove that I was just walking by and they labeled me as quote unquote participating in that riot, and if it was a violent riot, you're going to have a lot of students that are expelled from school for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that's kind of why a lot of people talking about November 4th are saying, just stay home, because guilty by association is something that does happen in this country. Really interesting stuff, I don't know if I would recommend visiting the website, who knows what the government's going to look into your, ISP or whatnot. But just as far as sort of like the research that they've done, and, you can kind of take what you find online with a grain of salt, but I look at all this information as, just as like indications, like whispers of truth that I can kind of look into, They're talking about 296 bombing strikes in the, highest total in 5 years. Okay. That's a lot of bombing strikes. I don't know how you feel about foreign intervention. I'm not really going to share my opinion that much. I'm not a military expert. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to kind of editorialize on that, but so they're talking about military action, talking about deploying troops overseas, talking about the environment. Environment's important. Look, we all want air to breathe. I don't have anything wrong with trying to keep the environment nice. Talking about Muslims, it's a real hot issue for a lot of people. Kind of talk about random stuff here, though. Like, a Trump supporter in Portland, Oregon murdered 2 Good Samaritans. That's terrible. But protesting in front of City Hall isn't going to stop crazy individuals from doing crazy shit, you know? So it's like, I don't even know why they would list this. Like, it's like if a bunch of conservatives got together and said some random liberal did one crazy thing and hurt somebody, and we're protesting to stop liberals doing crazy random shit. I mean, I guess that's sort of why you protest, to get the other side. But, not, you see what I'm saying? Like, just weird stuff. Just like random instance. A worker at a Middle Eastern restaurant in Salem was attacked by a white man wielding a pipe, yelling, "Get out of America," and "Arab, you need to leave." Okay, yeah, that's really racist. That's a terrible thing. I don't think any country-loving conservative or Trump supporter, yeah, there's going to be some racist Trump supporters, but I mean, the amount of people that sort of claim to be racist and the amount of people that are crazy enough to grab a pipe and go attack someone, it's a hugely different number. Most people are sort of, and I'm not like trying to encourage people to like be actually be racist or anything. I'm just saying that most people are mostly talk, So yeah, it's terrible that there's one-off incidents like this, but I don't know. Protesting isn't going to stop some random person from being racist. That's all I'm saying. Immigration enforcement, there's obviously been a large push against the immigration enforcement. I don't really need to comment on that. That kind of speaks for itself. White supremacy, police brutality, mass incarceration. White supremacy is going to be a thing in the past. It's almost a joke to talk about white supremacy, in my opinion, because it's sort of like statistically impossible for whites to remain a majority. The number of quote unquote white people or people of European descent, or Caucasian European descent, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. If Spaniards don't consider themselves Caucasian, but the point is, the globe, aside for very, very few countries where they're very xenophobic, and they limit immigration significantly, and that's not just, Caucasian countries that do that. There are several countries that are sort of like that, and you can find them and look into them if you're interested. But generally speaking, we're going to be a very diverse people, a very diverse species in the future, all our different genes from all different quote unquote races. So this whole idea that like white people are going to be supreme or the majority, it's just a way to foment division between us. Have Caucasians historically been in power in America? Yes, that's not really the question, but is it something that is going to just go on indefinitely, automatically? I don't think so, no. Police brutality? Yeah, that's something that's been around for a while. Police have a tough job. I don't think that most policemen relish, having to be violent with people. I mean, it's a tough job. Could police improve the way that they police? I'm sure they could. Could criminals improve the way that they handle themselves with police? Absolutely. Some people just go fucking crazy when they get arrested, Some people just lash out and they'll just fucking do whatever, punch, bite, kick, scream, spit, piss. Cops, a lot of people think cops just deal with violent, angry people, but they deal with nasty shit, they deal with scary shit, they deal with psychologically fucking traumatic shit, like, all the time. So, yeah, it's rough that sometimes they have to get rough with people, but it's a really hard job. It's kind of a thankless job in this society. They don't really get a lot of props from people. Most people aren't really fans of the police until they need them, and then their opinion kind of changes. Mass incarceration. Yeah, it sucks being in jail. There are a lot of laws in this country. There are a lot of laws. Sometimes I think about becoming a lawyer just so I can live a better life, understand what the hell is going on in this country. So at any rate, this video is kind of getting long and I'm sort of rambling. But I personally, on November 4th, am I going to go out to this place in the city? No, I don't think so. If I had nothing better to do, maybe, but it's just going to be too crazy. It's too high profile. What I call like a high profile event, you know. The same reason I don't typically go out on days like New Year's or weekends like Labor Day, or, you know, you're not going to find me on the road too often on Thanksgiving, because the days that everyone else is out and going crazy, those are the days that I like to avoid. I like to be safe because life is too short to get wrapped up in stupid little drama and join with the thousands. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be thousands of people in every city. I mean, I guess I give them, you know, if I thought it was completely a grassroots movement, I would give them credit, but I don't. And I don't think it's a conspiratorial stretch to say that they're very likely getting support from people that are not pleased with Trump. And Trump is not, you know, he's not exactly a lone ranger. He's certainly, you know, to get to be a billionaire, you do have to kind of play the game. And he talked about that when he was running for office. He was like, "Look, I've given money to both sides. I know how this works. Like, I'm not an idiot. I've been in the game. I understand what happens. So don't, whatever you think of me, don't think that I don't know how it works." And I think his bluntness with respect to, like, look, I know what goes on behind the scenes. It's, you know, it's not a big deal. Let's move past that and try to, you know, try to do something about this country. And I think his bluntness really connected with a lot of people. You know, so many politicians speak in politispeak, and granted, he reads from the teleprompter a lot these days, and I'm not sure how much choice he has in that. But you know, when he was running and, you know, putting videos out and stuff, he was just being Trump, and he is unabashedly just a enigmatic person who, you know, he goes out and gets it. And not everyone's going to agree with everything that he's getting or everything that he's working on, you know. But that's okay. It's important that this country remains strong and that this country looks out for its own interests. You know, a lot of people think that we need to sort of be involved everywhere. We need to help everyone inside and outside of this country. But that's not how countries are supposed to work. And I'll be honest, if every single person in this country had healthcare, had housing, had you know, had the ability to you know, had never had to worry about starving or not being able to see a doctor or dying from cold. You know, we have people die because they freeze to death every year. People sleep on the seats. There are people that, you know, not as many as die from car accidents or heart attacks, but people die in this country from just being cold. They die in this country from being too hot, from not having enough food, not having enough water, you know, from not being able to get health insurance, from not having mental health insurance. So, do I think that it would be great to help teach the rest of the world how to fish? Absolutely. But do I think we need to be giving our fish away while we still have people in this country that need fish and need to be taught how to fish? You know, I think the stronger that we can become, the more that we can help our own citizens, the more we can help other countries learn, you know, how to help their citizens. Because ultimately, if we can empower other countries to do better for themselves, then the tide, you know, a rising tide ultimately will lift all ships, but it doesn't help if you're having problem treading water. You know, not everyone knows how to swim, not everyone knows how to tread water. So the tide's going up, that's not always a good thing. If you have a giant boat, yeah, it's great if the tide's going up. If you're barely treading water and you got two kids holding onto your back, you're not feeling great about that, you know? So, thanks for watching. I know this video got a little bit long, but just wanted to kind of share some thoughts on the world. I don't think it's going to begin November 4th, but, be careful, America. Be careful. Take care of yourself. Stay safe out there. Keep prepping. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.